Hello friends, and welcome to my brand new booktube channel. I am so glad you're here. My name is Alex, and today for my very first video, I wanted to sit down with you and chat about what this channel is going to be about, why I'm here. So this is gonna be a little intro, get to know me video. I have some of the Booktube Newbie questions here with me to help me kind of guide this conversation and just share with you a little bit about what I am doing here and why I hope you'll stick around and hang out on my new channel. So welcome again, I'm Alex, and let's get into some of these questions. The first one we're going to talk about is why am I starting this channel and what am I excited about for this channel? So I have been a part of Bookstagram for a couple of years now, and it has been so fun meeting people in the bookish community, making friends, and just having bookish conversations with people who have similar passions. And recently I have started watching a lot of booktubers, and it has gotten me so excited for just the different types of conversations that can be had in this longer form type of content. So I wanted to try it out for myself. I wanted to make a booktube channel to be able to engage with you guys in a different type of conversation. That's really why I'm here, is to talk about books with you and hear from you and make some great friends along the way like I have on Bookstagram. That is why I'm starting this channel, and I think the thing that I'm just most excited about is just the community, because I've already experienced that in Bookstagram. I know how wonderful the bookish community is online, and I am just excited to get deeper into it and meet even more of you and have even more of those conversations and friendships. So thank you for being here. Please be my friend. I would absolutely love that. Please leave me a comment and let me know who you are, what kind of books you love. I want to get to know you, and I hope you stick around for more bookish content from me here on this channel. So question number 2 is, what are some fears or challenges that I am anticipating with starting this channel? And the biggest fear that I have starting this channel is just that there's already too many voices in the conversation, and then there's not space for me. And I know that's just a personal thing and it's not true, but you know, seeing these people who've been around booktube for years, who've been doing this for ages and just really have amazing things to share and say within this community, I just get that like insecurity of, why should my voice be added to this conversation? What can I really bring? And is there really room for me here? So that's one of the fears that I have. And a challenge that I was talking to my husband about was like, this is all very new to me. So the video editing process takes me quite a while. It's a new skill I am learning and developing, and I am worried that I'm gonna spend all my time working on videos and not have any time to read, and then not have anything to share with you in these videos because I'm not reading anything. So just figuring out, I think, that balance of, okay, I want to start this new hobby, I'm excited about learning how to make these videos for you guys, but how do I also balance that and still keep reading books and have things to have these conversations with you about? The next thing we're going to talk about is why we're all here. Why do I love reading? And I think there are so many different things to love about reading, so many reasons to love reading, but I think the thing that is the most significant to me is that reading is just such a powerful tool of creativity, and for both the author and the reader, that we just get to exercise these parts of our brain that are so magical and amazing, and the things that we can picture and dream up. I just think being an author is like a superpower. Like, I can come up with these things in my brain and then write them down on paper, and then somebody else can read it and picture those same things. It's so beautiful, and I think that stories are so powerful, and just have an ability to connect people in a way that is very unique and impactful. And being a reader, I can learn and engage with stories that are so different from my own personal life story. I can get into the mind of the narrator and see the world, or a different world, from a completely different perspective than my own. I just think it's a great way to expand your mind, expand your understanding. Even if you're reading fiction, I think you can learn a lot about other people's perspectives, other cultures, just things that are outside of your normal day-to-day life. And I think it's just a really beautiful way to expand your mind. There's so many more things I love about reading, but I just honestly think that the written word and stories are magic and they're so powerful, and that is really like why I continue reading, why I love it so much. So what got me into reading originally, and then what got me back into reading as an adult? As a kid, I was a slow kind of reader in school, and so my mom would read to me a lot as a kid, and her and I sitting down and snuggling up with a book was really what made me fall in love with reading. And we did that for years and years and years, and it took a while before I really picked it up on my own and wanted to read on my own. But my mom reading to me as a kid was like what made me fall in love with stories and the written word. And of course, you know, some of those books that we read together: Harry Potter, A Wrinkle in Time, The Chronicles of Narnia, Peter and the Starcatchers got me super hyped on reading. And then eventually I picked that up myself. And some of the things, gosh, what do I remember starting to read on my own? You know, a lot of the like classic middle grade books are kind of those first things that I started reading. And then I got my very first Kindle. And when I got my first Kindle, I would read anything and everything that I could get for cheap. So it was like all of those Kindle publishing books for YA that were like 99 cents, $1.99, because I would read like one a day in the summers. I would just eat them up. And so any series I could find that I could like spend not that much money and get it on my Kindle and read it right away, I was eating that up as a teenager. And of course I read Twilight and The Hunger Games and basically anything I could get my hands on. I loved reading. I had a really heavy Nicholas Sparks phase in like the 8th grade. I read like all of his books in like a 3-month time span. So, you know, I've run the gambit. I've read a lot of different things, and you know, that love of reading just stuck with me, so much so that I decided to study English in college. And that is where my love of reading went to die. Getting an English degree means you read a lot of books that you are told to read. And in that process, just how much reading I was doing that was not things that I had chosen for myself, my love of reading just tanked. And I stopped reading for fun for pretty much all of college and then years afterwards as well. And I graduated college in 2017, and it wasn't until 3 years later, of course during the pandemic, when I started to really get back into reading. You know, I'd read a couple of things, mostly honestly like some self-help books, because I had gotten into this mindset that as an adult, I was supposed to read nonfiction. I wasn't supposed to read fantasy and the things that I loved anymore. If I was gonna read, it was supposed to be nonfiction to grow and develop myself as a person. So that's kind of what I had read for a couple of years, just on and off. And then in 2020, I was like, you know what? I want to reread The Chronicles of Narnia. I want to go back to those things that I loved as a kid. So I reread some middle grade books that I loved. The Chronicles of Narnia, The Dark Hills Divide, just some of these like middle grade stories that I had loved as a child, because I didn't know where I wanted to start. I didn't know what was out there and what was new anymore, but I knew those stories and I knew that I had loved them once. So I reread some of those, and that really kickstarted me into being like, okay, what is new out there? It's been years since I've been a reader. I'm sure there are new stories that I haven't discovered that I would love out there. So I started, you know, searching Goodreads, searching the internet, and I stumbled across Bookstagram. And I started my account and started making friends and talking to people and discovering all of these books that I had missed because of those years that I wasn't reading, and just found this love for reading again. Discovered so many stories that I just absolutely adore. And it has been such a fun ride getting back into reading. I went from, you know, a couple of nonfiction books a year to 2021, I read over 100 books and just have been eating up these amazing stories ever since. And it has gotten me back into a creative space that I have missed so much. It was such a huge part of my personality and who I was and my identity when I was young. I mean, I went to college for it and I lost that for a few years, and it feels like finding myself again to be back into reading. So, long story short, I got back into reading at the end of 2020, and here I am, still doing it, still loving it, and I want to talk to you guys about it. So what are my favorite genres? You might be able to tell from some of the books I've been talking about, but I am a fantasy girl. I love fantasy. That will always be my favorite, my top. I don't see that ever changing. I do love YA. I feel like right now I'm in a transitional period where I'm reading less and less YA and starting to read more and more adult. I will always have a soft spot for YA. I enjoy it a lot. I love a YA mystery thriller because I can't handle an adult mystery thriller, but YA, I love that. So you'll see a lot of YA books on my shelves. You'll hear me talk about a lot of YA books, but I feel like I'm kind of in that transitional period where I am starting to read more and more adult books and getting more and more into that. I have also started dabbling a little bit in the romance genre. However, I do not like spicy romance. So if you're here for the spicy recs, you are not going to get them. I apologize. I like a pretty clean, closed door romance. Historical fiction, I really enjoy. I don't read a ton of it anymore. I have to be in the mood for it. Again, I feel like that was one of those genres where I was like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to read as an adult. I think I will get back into more historical fiction, but I haven't read one in a while. The majority of what you're gonna see me talk about here is fantasy. What are some of my favorite books? To give you a taste of some of the things that I might be reading and talking about, the conversations we might be having here on this channel. So I will give you 3 of my favorite books, which was so hard to narrow down, honestly, and it feels maybe like a poor representation of what I read because I don't really have YA in this stack, but we're gonna go with it. These are the books that I picked as my 3 favorite books. We have A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. This is one that I read pretty recently. My dear friend Joanna gave this book to me and I gobbled this up. Book 2 comes out in a couple of months, so you will definitely hear me talking about that on this channel when A Fire Endless comes out. But A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross is wonderful and beautiful and I love it. We have A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. I am fully and completely obsessed with this trilogy. It just finished, it just completed. I have read them all, and this will be one that I go back to frequently. I will definitely do rereads of this one. I just adore it. I have made my husband and my mother read this series, so this is definitely one you will hear me talk about and recommend. And the book that I really credit getting me back into reading is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is the first book, new to me book, that I picked up back in 2020 that I just fell in love with. I had read quite a few when I found this one, but this was the first one that I just could not put down. I was fully and completely immersed and obsessed, and so I really credit this book a lot to my current love of reading, and it will hold a special place in my heart forever. I love The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern so dearly. Lastly, what type of content and videos can you expect to see here on my channel in the future? So obviously today we're just doing a sit down, get to know me video, but I hope to do a lot of different types of videos. I want to do monthly wrap-ups and let you know what I'm reading, what I'm thinking about it. I might do some monthly TBR videos, but I am a mood reader and a library reader, so we'll see how that goes. I will do some bookish unboxings from special edition companies. I will do some book hauls of new books that I am getting. Obviously, I love my book collection. Let's not even talk about the book collecting hobby. Obviously, if you're here, you probably are aware that book collecting and reading are 2 completely different hobbies, and I enjoy both of them. So you will probably see some book hauls on here. You will see some reading vlogs. I am currently working on one for you. I'm currently reading Kingdom of Ash for the very first time. So I am going to be sharing a vlog of all of my thoughts reading Kingdom of Ash for the first time. So if you are an SJM fan, stick around for that one. I will be letting you know everything I think as I read through Kingdom of Ash. I hope to do that in the future with other books as well. Not always spoilery, but because it's SJM, I just wanted to do like a full-on SJM fandom video, but you know, I will do others just reading vlogs through a week or however that ends up going. I also have a husband who loves to read as well. Not to the level that I am obsessed, but he does enjoy reading, and we do read books together every once in a while, so I'd love to do some videos with him, book club chats kind of us just going back and forth of our thoughts on a book that we read together. I think would be really fun. Hopefully you'll stick around and enjoy some of the content that I am creating. I am so glad that you are here, so glad that you joined me for this video today, and if you are still around, please leave me a comment. Please let me know who you are. I would love to be friends with you, so thank you for being here. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. I would appreciate that so much. Subscribe if any of the content that I have talked about sounds interesting to you. If you want to know when that Kingdom of Ash vlog comes out, please subscribe to my channel. So welcome to my brand new Booktube channel. I hope you enjoyed this get to know me chat and Booktube Newbie Tag. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.